Hi everyone. In this session, we will learn another special technique in organic chemistry or organic synthesis, that is microwave induced organic synthesis. I think all of you know this instrument microwave. You must have seen this kind of microwave somewhere in the bakery or at home, because this microwave is very much common, especially to heat samosa, patties. So when you go to some bakery, they heat it and immediately give it. Okay, within 5 minutes or within 1 or 2 minutes, they heat to very high temperature, and when you eat it, which will be very hot, you must have experienced. So, but can we use the same in organic synthesis? No, it's pretty conventional. It is not that conventional or not that feasible to use this for organic synthesis. In microwave induced organic synthesis or for organic reactions, you can see this kind of instrument. This is Biotage one instrument image I have put. There is some sophisticated instrument specially designed for various reasons, and extra precautions are taken. And this kind of automated one, nowadays it is fully automated instrument you can use for carrying out organic synthesis. So basically, why we use microwave for organic synthesis? Because it's a kind of green chemistry approach. Because they use less solvent, you do the prevention of waste, because they all come under the principles of green chemistry, and it is designed very well for energy efficiency, and you can be safer and be control the accidents, so accidents can be prevented. So because of all these reasons, microwave induced organic synthesis is one of the types of green chemistry approach. Now I think you must be wondering why we are using microwave and what exactly happens when you do it for chemical reactions. All of you know microwave falls in the electromagnetic spectrum with a wavelength 1 centimeter to 1 meter roughly again, and the reactions are carried out microwave. If you want to see the definition, so what do you understand? Organic reactions carried out using microwave is called microwave induced organic synthesis. Now what exactly happens? Now what is the difference of using microwave and conventional method? Why this is called special technique? Because that is very important. So we'll learn what exactly happens when microwave induced. First we will see what is that conventional method. The one thing you keep in mind that microwave induced organic synthesis, the role of microwave is just to heat the sample. It doesn't do anything else. So don't be under the impression that microwave will do something else in the reaction, acts as a reagent or catalyst while we do the reaction. Never misunderstand this. The role of microwave is just to heat the reactants and solvent or whatever the molecules present in the reaction mixture, and then do the reaction, then make the reaction feasible. So now you have understood this is just another type of heating, nothing else. So wherever you are heating, suppose you want to do some reaction, and in that organic synthesis you have to heat it. Now instead of normal heating, you can do it under microwave. This is the only thing that microwave will do. Okay. Now what is that microwave? Why it is advantageous? Why not conventional heating? What happens in conventional heating? How it is different than microwave? What are the special advantages of microwave heating? That we will see now. Now the conventional heating, I think you must have experienced. You want to heat up milk, so you keep it in some vessel, steel vessel. Then what happens if you put it on a gas? So that will heat up the metal first. Then that heat will be transferred to milk, and milk will be heated up. This is what conventional heating. Suppose any organic reaction mixture you take and you keep it in certain vessel, it may be glassware like a round bottom flask, and you heat it in oil bath or direct flame. What happens? In the beginning, the flask or glass will be heated. That heat will be transferred to what? The reactants or the solutions which is present in the solution. Then heating, due to the effect of heating, of course there will be collision, and that collision will cause reaction. Now how microwave heating is different? Microwave also similar heating, but here it won't heat up the vessel. It will directly heat up the reactants and solvent present in the reaction medium. This is the difference. It won't heat up the vessel. Vessel is not heated. So lots of heat is preserved, because you don't have to heat the entire vessel and then transfer. That convection and conduction, all these things, losses you can avoid. So this is the difference. So you can see here, conventional heating, you are heating the flask and then heat will enter the reaction mixture, and then conduction will take place. So ionic conduction, or conduction of the atoms, molecules present in the solution, and transfer of heat take place, collision will increase, reaction will take place. And in microwave heating, instead of heating this vessel, it will directly heat the reactants or the solvents. Okay. So now how this will take place? How it is possible? So because one thing you should notice, that whatever the molecules they are present, their motion. I think in the last semester, 5th semester, there were vibrational spectra you have studied and rotational spectra you have studied. That rotational spectra falls under microwave. Okay, rotation of the molecule. So that rotational frequency that matches with the microwave wavelength. When the wavelength matches, okay, then there will be resonance. That resonance, if it is possible, then there will be an absorption. Okay, because this rotation has to match with the this wavelength has to match with the one which you are using, that radiation. So that is microwave, which corresponds to the rotation of the molecules. So what is that heating is called? This is called dielectric heating. Okay, this is called dielectric heating. You can understand the mechanism of heating more clearly here. So you are applying a radiation, any electric field or any radiation, it's an electromagnetic wave. So that electromagnetic wave, it consists of a positive phase and negative phase. So this is what you all know. So when it is in this way and this way, this will be completely opposite in polarity. Correct? One is positive, another one is negative. Now you consider the molecules. So this is a molecule. This looks like H2O. I mean OHH. If you consider, if you look at the molecules are also polarized. H2O, all of you know. I don't have to explain the figure because they are all polarized. One is positive side, another one is negative side. Oxygen will be negative and hydrogen side will be positive, delta plus and delta minus. What happens when it is in the positive phase, that alternating electric field, that will interact with the negative phase of the molecule. Now this plus phase will interact with minus phase of the molecule, that is nothing but oxygen. If you consider this as oxygen, there will be interaction on both the sides. And when that changes to negative side, that wave, that will interact with the positive part of that, delta plus of that molecule. Now what happens from here to here, here to here, here to here, every time molecule, what happens, it will change the phase, or it will change the it will change every time. It will rotate. It has to go from here to here, here to here. You can see it here. Alternating electric field or alternating field which is generated by this microwave will every time will start rotate the molecules. So every time it will shift from one phase to another phase. So what happens? Positive, negative, negative, positive. So this will start moving. It will start rotating about itself, and there will be, of course, there will be motion. That is translation motion, which is possible in any kind of medium. Translation motion, rotational motion will start, and when they will start moving randomly, okay, they will start moving everywhere. There will be collision, and based on the frequency and collision strength, there will be reaction. Okay, because basically what is a reaction? If you want to do any kind of chemical reaction, there has to be a molecular collision. When the molecular collision will take place, whatever you wanted, if it is a substitution, if it is an addition, whatever is possible. Without collision, nothing is possible. So because of this motion, translation motion and rotational motion, which is induced because of microwave, the molecule started getting heat. It got excited, started moving everywhere. So heat is getting transferred because of conduction again, and the temperature, overall temperature of the reaction medium is increased. Okay, then what happens? the molecular collision will also increase, reaction will progress. This is what microwave heating is. Okay, this is also called dielectric heating. You can see it here how exactly it is heating, and there will be a lot of nice videos if you want to see it in YouTube. So I have taken these images from some Google source. So how conventional heating is different than the microwave heating. It is directly irradiated, molecules are, and they excited, they will do the reaction. Okay, then there are some precautions which you should take here. One thing, you should always remember, when you want to use microwave heating, is it okay to use any kind of vessel or any kind of solvent? No, there are some restrictions. You can't use anything like conventional heating. In conventional heating, metal is also okay, glass is also okay, whatever you take, because vessel will be heated up. Okay, and then conduction will take place, reaction will progress. But here there are certain restrictions. If you want to do the reaction under microwave, you can't use metal here, because metal itself will absorb microwave. So here the vessel should not absorb the microwave. It should be directly, it will be into the molecules or the reaction medium. So don't use the metal plates or any metal vessel. You can use silicon, aluminum foil, and like glass jars, glassware. You can use all type of glassware, or some kind of Teflon type of microwave safe polymer you can use. And some of the types of vessel which should never be used, like china plates, paper plates, metal containers, all those should not be used because they absorb microwave. And these are some of the solvents which we can use. Remember, it has to be for a compound or for a molecule to be microwave active, it should have permanent dipole moment. So here also, if you want to do any reaction, either solvent or the reactants, they should be microwave active. It's good if both of them are microwave active. So too much non-polar reaction you can't do. So there has to be a dipole moment, and there will be a change in dipole moment, and what happens? The reaction will progress. So certain solvents are microwave inactive, some are microwave active. Microwave active solvent or better solvent are those which has very good dielectric constant. Okay, like water, methanol, acetone, dimethyl formamide, DMSO. These are some of the very active microwave active solvents. Microwave inactive solvents are, you can see non-polar, like hexane, benzene, carbon tetrachloride, this kind of solvents. You can see it here, the absorbance level of microwave, which are high, medium and low. High one which is having very high dielectric constant, medium are in between, and low like those who don't have considerable dipole moment, okay, like non-polar solvents. If you come to the instrumentation, these are some types of instrument. Of course, there are very much sophisticated instrument. The very good one is Biotouch, which I was using. So the different way, based on the scale of the reaction, instruments are purchased in the company, again in research labs. So you can see one typical organic reactions which is run under microwave here. So these are different components of microwave. This camera, of course, it is not essential, but it is kept just to monitor the progress of the reaction. Sorry, not to monitor, just to have a picture of what exactly is going on inside. And here the parameter setting panel, you can adjust the temperature, pressure, and microwave frequency. All those things we can adjust. And microwave reactor is the one which is having oven here, complete instrument, that is called reactor, and more specifically, or microwave instrument you can call it as. It has oven and microwave oven, and where the irradiation takes place. And the one which produces microwave is called magnetron. It is followed by waveguide, and before it enters the vessel and heats the molecules inside the reaction mixture. Okay, these are some of the references for instrumentation and for learning some principle. This is a very good review article in Tetrahedron, which was published in 2001. Please go through it. It's very nicely it is explained, the principle of microwave heating. Because if you want to study microwave, you should know what is the principle of microwave. Principle is based only on heating. I am reiterating this sentence because Don't misunderstand that microwave will do something else. It will just heat. It will just heat the reaction mixture. So it will heat because of that dipole moment of the molecules which are present in the reaction mixture. It may be solvent or the reactants, whatever. And another thing is heat advantages. You know that conventional heating, they heat the flask and then reaction mixture will be heated. But here directly reactants and the solvent will be heated. Okay, these are some of the other resources. So you can go through various videos and e-learning sources which are available online. Thank you for watching.